Hello everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of the basic Python tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 4. Now we are going to talk about strings in detail. So we already know what are strings, as we have already talked about variables and data types in our last class, but in this class we are solely going to talk only about numbers, or only about strings or characters. You can call it as words, or you can put out sentences, not numbers. Okay, so let's not waste much time and let's get started. Well, now over here on my screen, as you guys can see, that I do have all of this, which I did in our last class. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just cut all this out, and now we are going to learn that what is a string. Okay, so let's start with the very basics. So anything you give the function print, then let's open parentheses, and now if I just open my double quote, let's say I will just tell good morning over here. And as you guys can see, anything which is actually present inside a quotation, inside a parenthesis over here, is basically a string. Okay, so as you guys can see, I do have written this words over here, good and morning, with a space in between. And if I just run this line of code here in my console, it's written good morning. Okay, so over here it is written good morning, and after that what I'm going to do here is you can write this in a different ways. Okay, so there are different ways of how you can write this thing out. Okay, and also we are going to learn ways over here of how you can actually work these variables in so many different ways. Okay, so not only in one or two ways, but in a lot many ways. Okay, so now what I'm going to do over here is, first, like, if you want to also create a variable out of this, you guys can actually create a variable as well. Okay, so any simple word, let's say now if I just give a command of print. Okay, let's open parenthesis. You need to make sure if it's a string, you need to open your double quote, and after that if I just give only one word, let's say if I just put only a here, it will just print a. If I write a whole sentence, let's say today is a great day, today is a great day, and if I just run this line of code here, you guys can see that it is printed right over here back again. Okay, so now from here I will just cut this down, and now we are also going to learn that if you do want to put a variable, let's say if I just come here and now I will just create a variable. Let's say I will name this particular variable as my underscore var. Okay, so I will just write here and I'll just put equal to, and inside this what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type good morning. Okay, so now my string is basically inside my var variable. Okay, so over here if you do want to print it, we already know how you are going to do so. So let's type print, open parenthesis, open double quote. And if I do want to print this good morning over here, I don't have to type good morning here. Instead, what I will do is I will just type my name of the container, or the name of my variable. So my var is present, print my underscore var. And if I just come here, you guys can see, well, it is not showing you that it is printing you this my var. Okay, but I will just remove these quotations from the side because I need to make sure that this is not a string, but this is a variable. So now if I just click on run, here you guys can see now it is printing me good morning. And from here now again, if I change this to afternoon, let's say, and again if I run this line of code here, it's going to show me good afternoon. Okay, so that's one way of how you can actually create a variable and use your string inside your variable. Now let's try to understand about different kind of functions that we are going to use mostly. Let's say now whatever content I do have inside this my var variable, what I want to do is I want to have all those content in small letters. Okay, this G also will be in small, this A also will be in small, and everything else is in small already. Okay, so in that case what I can do is I will just type the name of my variable, then I'll just put dot, and after that if I just go with lower, now I'll just open and close parenthesis. Now let's run this line of code, and now here in the console you guys can see it is showing me a good afternoon in all small caps, even the G and the A over here. And if you do want to change it, let's say now you don't want lowercase letters which is present inside your variable, but instead now you want to create something which is of upper letters. Everything will be in upper letter. Okay, so I do have written upper. Now if I just go and run this, here you guys can see it says good afternoon. Okay, so over here it says good afternoon, and now everything is in a capital letters. Okay, so from here, as you guys can see, my var dot upper and then my var dot lower. And now also there is another way of working with this is that you are going to use a function known as dot is upper or is lower. Okay, so we also have learned about the Boolean data type, if you guys have remember, which will just give you two output, whether it is false or whether it is a true statement. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to come here, and now I'm going to see that, well, this particular variable or my var variable, is it in upper? So I will just use is upper, and if I just run this line of code, here you guys can see that it is showing me an error because my first letter I is in upper letter. Okay, and here you guys can see it is showing me is upper, and I'll just delete one from here, and I'll just delete this other parenthesis. And as you guys can see now, in my var container, or in my variable which I do have right over here, let me just create a space that I can show you guys well. Okay, so the first letter is uppercase, okay, or the first character is uppercase, and the first letter or the first character of the second word is uppercase as well. Okay, so from here, now what I'm gonna do is that if I want to see whether this particular statement is true or not, I want to check that if is all the letters in upper letter. But as it is not right now, it will show you a false statement. So if I just run this code here in the console, it says false. Okay, because my var variable doesn't contain all the characters as upper characters. Okay, and also if you just come here, instead of is upper, now if you just type is lower, and again if you just run this line of code, it is going to show you false. Only it is going to show you the correct or the true is that if you come here, and as here now it says, does my var variable contain all the characters inside in small letter. So yeah, this particular statement is true, and now I'm just trying to verify it. I will just click on run, and here you guys can see it shows that this particular statement is basically a true statement. Okay, so this is a true statement right over here. And if we do want to come here, and if we do want to check vice versa, let's go with a good morning. Okay, and now if I just run this code over here, or is upper, let me just change it, is, or let's type is upper. And now if I just run my code here, it shows that this is a true statement. Okay, so this is another case. But now there is another thing which we guys can actually do. Let's say I do have each and everything over here. Let's say the way it was, good morning, like the first alphabet of the letter, or the first alphabet of the word which I'm writing is in cap, and everything else is followed by a small letters. Okay, but now let's say I want to find that if all these things are in upper letter, but at the same time here in this statement I want to convert the small caps to upper caps, and at last I want to have a statement which is as true. Okay, because if I run this code now, it will show me a false in the console, because it doesn't have all the upper letter. So for that, what you can do is once you type my var, then, or the name of your variable, whatever you can name it, so just type dot, then first you convert it to a upper letter. Okay, so upper, then I will just close this parenthesis, and once you have converted, let's say you have converted all the alphabets into uh, uppercase letters, then just put a dot, and after that you can verify this whether it is a uppercase letter or not. Okay, so that's something that we should remember. But now as you guys can see that here what it does is when it comes to the print statement, first it says, well, they're telling you to recall my var variable. So it recalled the my var variable, it saw what are the component present here inside, and once it saw that here you do have another comment which says dot upper, it turned all these characters into upper letters. And after that, they see that there is another condition which says now to verify that all the contents which are over here on top is in upper letter. Okay, so what happened here is already now as this function or this condition is done, you need to assume that everything else over here on top is now changed to an upper letter. Okay, and now if you run this line of code, it will show you that this is basically a true statement. Okay, so that is it. And also if you do want to do it with lower cases number, you can also do it. Okay, so I will just type lower, and I will just type is lower. Okay, so now if you just print this one again, it is going to show you guys a true statement. First it turned all of this into a lower statement, and after that it is just asking for a boolean data type over here. Okay, so now as this is done, the next thing what we gonna do over here is we can also use different kind of functions. Let's say over here you can also calculate that in total how many characters do you have inside this variable. Okay, so for that now what you can do is you can just go and click backspace, and you can use a function named len. Okay, if you do want to find the total length of your variable, so after you type len, make sure to open parenthesis, now name your variable. So I already do have my var, And now if I just run this line of code here, you guys can see that in total there are 12 characters. But if you just take a look, you guys might notice that, well, good have 4 words in it, and morning have 7 characters in it, and good also have 4 characters in it. So in total it's 11, but why it is showing 12? So don't forget that when you're finding the length, it also counts the space which is there in over here. Okay, so in total they do have 12 characters. And also now, if you want to find out, or let's say let's come down over here, if you do want to find out the total length, or if you do want to find out how the numbering works, okay, so for that, let's say if you want to count out the numbers, let's say if I do have a word, let's say A, B, C, or let's go with happy. So I will just go with the simple word happy. So for that, now let's type H over here, A over here, P here, P here, and Y here. So now if you try to judge that how many characters you have over here, so the counting starts from 0. Okay, and specifically let's say you do have a variable, and out of the variable you don't want to just take only one content out of it. Okay, like you want to take one content or a chunk of it from here. So how you are going to measure what is the index number of all of this? So from the left hand side, you always need to remember that the indexing starts from 0, then it goes 1, then it goes 2, then 3, and then 4. Okay, so if you just take a look, H, the index number of H over here is 0, the index number of A over here is 1, for P it's 2, for the second P it's 3, and for Y it is 4. And in total it is carrying 5 characters. But if you're doing the same numbering from the left hand side, uh, it actually starts from 1, not from 0. Okay, so -1, -2, and sort of things like that. Okay, so now let's close this down, and we do have understood that how you can actually find out the length. And the next thing what I'm going to do is I am also going to find out the index numbering which we were learning right now. Let's say if I just come here, let me just close this thing down, and I will just type first the name of my variable, which was my underscore var, and then I'll put a dot, and then I will just write index. And once you've typed in index, here you guys can see you need to add few things up over here as well. Okay, so for that, now I will just open up the parenthesis right over here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here, and let's say inside good morning I do have this number. Let's say I want to find the index number of D. Okay, so if I just come here and if I just type D, and if I just run this code here, it is showing me 3. Okay, because the index number of G is 0, the index number of O is 1, the second O is 2, and for D it's 3. But if you come here and let's say if I just go with O, and if I just run this one over here, you guys can see it will show me only the location of the first one. Okay, so over here it is going to show me the index number of the first O present inside your variable. Okay, so that was about it. And also over here you can actually replace those things as well. Okay, let's say if you do want to come here and if you want to replace any numbers and stuff, you guys can actually replace it here as well. So my index dot var, and if I want to find the index number of a good, it will show me where it will end. So if I just run this, or where it will start, so here it says it is starting from 0. Okay, so that is how you guys can just find all of this right here. And also let me show you guys about another one which says, let's say I do have written something which says good morning and I want to change it right over here. So what I'm gonna do is I will just type my underscore var or the name of my variable dot, and then I have to use the keyword known as replace. Okay, so I'll just use this replace, and instead what I'm going to do is, instead of morning, which I do have over here, then I'll just come inside, then I'll just put out a comma, then I will just again put out a double quote, and I will just change the thing as this one was old, which was morning, and now I'm going to put it as afternoon. So over here I'm just giving the same command, which is print my var variable, but instead of printing good morning, it will print me good afternoon. Okay, so if I just run this line of code here, it shows that it is actually printing me good afternoon right over here. So I hope this particular class was clear on how you guys can work with strings in detail. We have also learned about different kind of functions which we should know. So yeah, I hope to see you all in the next chapter where we're gonna learn more about how you can work with the Python programming language. So see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye, everyone.